I'm here in Metropolis, well, kind of. I'm in Cleveland, home to the GOAT himself, Superman. Believe it or not, Cleveland is the birthplace of Superman himself, and also, as some of you may know, the place where James Gunn shot a lot of the new Superman movie. So in this video, we are going to visit those locations along with a couple of special ones like the actual house that Superman was created in, and then a very special one that's actually not located in Cleveland and will probably become one of the most important locations of James Gunn's DCU, so stay tuned for that. But at these locations, we're also going to be taking some pretty unique photos using these photos right here in my hand, and I will explain that a little bit later. But before we explore the present day Metropolis, we must go into the past and learn a little history about Superman, and that brings me to the two guys standing behind me, and that is Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, the creators of Superman. And right next to them is Jerry Siegel's wife, Joanne Siegel. And you might be wondering, hey, she looks a lot like Lois Lane. Well, you would be correct, because Joe Shuster actually based the character of Lois Lane off of Joanne Siegel. But the cool thing here is that their childhood homes where they first concepted the idea of Superman are still standing here in Cleveland, and that is where our adventure begins. So behind me is the literal birthplace of Superman. This is the childhood home of Jerry Siegel, where he came up with the idea for Superman. More specifically, it is that top room window right there is where Jerry Siegel came up with the idea of Superman. There's a lady that lives in this house by the name of Miss Hattie, and she saw me recording outside, so she came outside and showed me a bunch of historical documents and cool history on this house. And so I'm just gonna roll that footage right now because it is really cool. She started by showing me pictures of all the different people who have visited the house, and then told me about the time Joanne Siegel herself visited.
This is Jerry Wise. She wrote that. She came one day.
Oh, wow.
I wasn't here.
That's who he based Lois Lane off of.
Yeah,
right there, yeah.
Then she gave me the guest book that everyone who visits the house gets to sign, and you won't believe who signed this book.
Oh, David Cornsweet? Get out of here. So they came by the house and signed this book.
Then it was finally my turn to sign my name in the same book as Superman himself, David Cornsweet. Then I took a picture to remember it all, and oh yeah, shout out Miss Hattie.
But anyways, after Jerry came up with the idea for Superman right here in the house behind me, he came down the street to the house behind me, which belonged to his friend Joe Shuster, and here is where they drew Superman for the very first time. Now, this isn't the original house, but this is the same location where Joe Shuster grew up. And on the fence surrounding the property, you will see the first 13 pages of Action Comics issue 1, which is of course the very first appearance for Superman in the comics. But now that we know a little bit of history about Superman himself, let's head to Metropolis, aka downtown Cleveland, to check out some of these filming locations. First up is Cleveland's Public Square, where Superman in the Justice Gang took on the kaiju in the movie, and right behind me is actually the fountain where Superman saved the dog from the kaiju stepping on it. So this is the perfect location for me to finally tell you what we're going to be doing with all of these photos.
So I have 10 photos, and each of these photos is a different frame from the movie. And my goal at each of these locations is to line up the photos to recreate the shot from the movie, just like I'm doing here, to hopefully get something like this. Anyways, there is a couple of locations pretty close to Public Square, like the Sherman Williams building, where Superman saves that little girl during the kaiju fight. So I lined it up and got the photo to check off our second location, and this photo is probably one of my favorites. But don't forget, at the end of this video, we will be visiting potentially the most important location in James Gunn's DCU, but for now, let's get to our next locations. We are now at the Soldiers and Sailors Monument, and what took place here in the film solidified to me that James Gunn gets the essence of who Superman is, and that is when Superman saved that little squirrel in the kaiju battle. So let's set it up and take our photo. Our next location is the Cleveland City Hall, or in the movie it was known as the Metropolis City Hall, and it was right on those steps right there where Superman turned himself in. So let's get our photo. All right, let's move on to our next location because it's starting to get a little rainy and I need to put a rain jacket on. All right, we are in rain jacket mode now, but we are at Key Tower, better known as Stag Industries in the Superman movie. And this is the building that Superman walked into after his battle with the kaiju. But I think this photo is gonna be kind of tough to get because I think I have to be in the street right here to get it and line it up the best I can. So I'm gonna have to go across the street and get this photo. Okay, let's get this thing. The street is clear. Well, good news, it stopped raining so I could take my rain jacket off, but we are at one of our last 3 locations, and this is PNC Bank, where Superman crash landed after he was fighting the Hammer of Moravia. And according to this picture, am standing almost on that direct spot. It's somewhere in this general area. So let's get this baby framed up and get our picture, because these 2 next locations are probably the 2 locations that I am most excited for. Now this location is one I am super excited for. We are outside what is known as the Leader Building here in Cleveland, but in the movie this played home to the Daily Planet, and we do see Clark Kent himself walk into this building in the very beginning of the movie. So this is a picture that I am very, very excited to take. All right, let's get this lined up here and bang. Okay, so this is kind of an impromptu one, but I came across the Cleveland Public Library, which is actually where they shot the post-credits scene of Superman and Mr. Terrific. I didn't think I was gonna be able to get this today, but I'm here and I have the photo, so we might as well take the picture. I was also able to go inside the public library, which has a Superman section with lots of Superman memorabilia like toys, comics, historic photos, and even Jerry Siegel's writing desk where he wrote lots of Superman comics. But anyways, let's move on to our final location in Cleveland. We are finally here at my most anticipated location for this video. I am in a building called the Arcade here in Cleveland, Ohio, and right behind me, if you've seen the movie, then you know is where Lois and Superman had that iconic kiss at the end of the film. It is beautiful in here, and actually off to my left, they have a case full of set photos on how they pulled this stunt off. They did it all practically, and they are pretty much hooked up to a bunch of harnesses, just floating right here dead center. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this photo and make sure it's perfect. Okay, so we have a problem. You remember how I said we're going to a very special location at the end of this video? Well, that location is 3.5 hours away, and we only have 3 hours of sunlight left, and I still have to get gas in order to make it there, so we got a boogie. We might not make it on time, but we are going to make it there because I need to see this location. We are finally here in our last location. We are in Cincinnati, Ohio, and the actual location is right behind me, but you can't see it because I'm blocking it, so I'm going to reveal it to you. We are at Cincinnati's Union Station, otherwise known in the DCU as the Hall of Justice. And this is of course where the Justice Gang stays in Superman, and maybe sooner or later we finally get the Justice League in the Hall of Justice. Now, a fun fact about this building is that this is the building that the Hall of Justice was actually based off of. So that's why when you see it in the comics and the cartoons, it looks just like that building. But it's been a long day and we have one photo left to go, so let's take this photo and then finally end this video. All right, let's get this all lined up here. I'm not gonna totally line it up because I don't want to cover the Union Station there, but here we go in 3, 2, and 1. And that is a wrap on that. It has been quite the day, so if you're still watching this video, thank you very, very much. And comment Superman so I know you watched this all the way to the end. But I still have to drive like an hour and 45 minutes to get to the place that I actually live and get some sleep, so that's what I am going to do. But as always, guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment. God bless, and I'll see you guys later. Peace. Hey, thanks for watching to the end of the video. Be sure to subscribe and here's some more cool videos you may like. Alright, that's all I got. Peace.